Hey, welcome. This is Ken from Punk Comics and Ken's Comics and Angel's Blood and all the great fun stuff that you're used to seeing me do. Um, Thank you for joining us. Have you tuned in. Today is the day, so let's get to it. Hey, welcome again. All right, so I'm Ken, and today's the day. It is May 30th, 2021, and it's finally time for a new project. I have been pumping and pushing this project all month. If you're tuning in, you probably know that, so thank you guys. Uh, my usual disclaimer about not being a fantastic broadcaster because technology, and if I wish I had a producer to produce stuff for me, since I don't, here I am. So as I talk, I'm going to be looking around and checking my feeds, my phone, my comment section, just to see. Yep, there's one. Just trying to see if anybody's in, and if you are, thank you. All right, guys. Today we're talking about Angel's Blood Zero, and if you haven't been following me, you got to be like, what the hell is that, right? Angel's Blood Zero. Angel's Blood Zero is a prequel story to our first book, Angel's Blood 1. Punk Comics is a new name that we've come up with, Mike and I, to brand the books that we do together, because that's something we wanted to be special for just Angel's Blood, or if we do more projects down the road. So Punk Comics is the new label. Last time we printed Angel's Blood, we called it Incremental Studios, which was, again, I was trying to find a name, a brand for my work, and it didn't hit for me. And it's really the same thing. It's just a new name, makes more sense. Punk is something that goes with Mike and I. It's kind of a fun personal story, and maybe I'll tell that later or another time. So Joe Black. Hello, Joe. What do you know? All right. So check it out. See this guy, this guy, this guy. So this is our demon. That's a sketch I did, one of the live sketches of Golgoth. So let me see if I can throw this together in a nutshell. Angel's Blood is the story of a priest called Father Miller. And when we meet him, he is a recluse. He's buried his nose in the church, right? He's just dedicated to a pious life of just helping people and staying out of the trouble. But he's got a history. He's got a past. And when we meet him, we don't know about that past, but we know something's up with him. He's got this ability. So, cut to the demon that tracks him down, Golgoth, who I showed you a sketch of, and Golgoth is on a quest for redemption. Golgoth is one of the chief torturers in hell, like, the devil's right-hand man kind of thing, but he is sick of it. He has been doing this for hundreds of years, and he thinks that demons are, I think as Mike put it, assholes. And that's fine. He's a demon, but he wasn't always a demon, so he's tired of being one. He's tired of being stuck there, so he's looking for a way out. Now, there's an angel. You might tell by the title. It's an angel. Angel's blood. The angel falls to earth. All right. Don't get how that happened, but this dead angel falls to earth. But not everybody can see him. Only someone with the sight can see him. That's Father Miller. Father Miller tries to pretend he didn't see anything. He wants out of this craziness. Not a fan of the drama that comes with the supernatural. So Father Miller's been trying to just keep his nose down, and Golgoth wants to find this demon. Hey, it's all right, Joe. I mean, we're all over the place. If you didn't catch the video, I'll be posting this later to watch. So thank you. I appreciate the comments. I'm also on Facebook, so if I bounce around looking at comments between Facebook and YouTube, forgive me for my lack of broadcasting chops. But I'm an artist, so that's what I do. So when I do this live stream thing, it's mostly just to get the word out and talk to you guys personally about what I love, and that is, drawing pictures, making comics. I'm a freelance artist. I do a lot more than comics, but comics is my passion. If I were independently wealthy, I'd just be sitting around doing comics all the time. Back to Golgoth. So, Angel's Blood is a story of a demon trying to find this angel. He thinks if he drinks the angel's blood, it will purify him or something. Like it will cleanse him, and he can get himself out of hell, change himself for the better. It's pretty dark, but that's a mythology that exists in this supernatural universe. Miller's trying to stay the hell out of it. Golgoth shows up. He's like, bro, I need you to find this thing, and you're gonna help me. See, he's not just an altruistic guy. He's not just like on a quest for redemption. He's still an asshole himself. But he's also trying to do better, and he doesn't want to be an angel either. He doesn't like them. He doesn't like angels or demons. He's just trying to get out of hell. I'm not saying he's like a great guy. Miller also not a great guy. So that brings us to Angel's Blood 0, because in the first issue we basically just saw Miller and Golgoth as they are now. We joined in with them in real time, where they're about to go on this quest, and spoiler alert. I mean, the book's been out for 4 years, so get the book, catch it on Indie Planet. They fight some demons, some other monsters come, and there's blood and gore. It is a mature rated book, and I chose that only because it's just pretty violent and has a couple of swear words. So like my 13-year-old still hasn't read it. It's not that we're over the top inappropriate, but I mean it's not a story that's geared for kids. It's for adult readers. Mike and I were both heavily influenced by Spawn, and that kind of like mature, gritty, dark story. So it's kind of a horror comic, and it's made for grown people. So anyway, during the first Kickstarter launch, and we did really well. We did good enough to fund the book. It was my first Kickstarter, and I admit I didn't know what I was doing. So I learned what I could, and I threw something together, and I chose a small goal so that it would be reachable, just enough to print some books, because we just wanted this book to be in existence. Mike and I were on a long journey with Angel's Blood, and letting it sit on the shelf was just killing me. So Kickstarter was rising up, and it became a way for us to get the book printed. Going back years and years, Mike and I met when I first started taking comics seriously, and the book is very dear to me because it was the beginning of me becoming a real professional artist, in the sense that I started investigating what it took. What do real artists do? What do big time artists actually? What kind of materials do they use? What proportions do they work in? What kind of paper do they draw on? I mean, I was drawing on typing paper, and I'm old enough to say typing paper, with disposable store-bought pens, and I was drawing pretty good because I like to draw. But I mean, I wasn't producing quality printable work, and that's where I wanted to be. So actually, the first couple pages of Angel's Blood, if you maybe I'll do it. Next week I'm going to do another live stream, and we're going to show you the some of the original pages, because they are laughable. I literally have them, the first couple pages, before I started using Bristol board, which professional comic artists use. I was just using like fancy drawing paper, like a Strathmore pack of drawing paper, and it was nice, but it doesn't take ink as well, and I didn't even have the proportions correct. And there's a page where I actually had to physically cut and paste with rubber cement one of the panels. Like, it's so ghetto. It's funny now because it's years later and I know how to do real quality work now, I hope. But Angel's Blood was the beginning of me learning to do that, and that's why I love this book. So hopefully you guys feel that too, and think about backing this project. It's live now on Kickstarter. I should get that link for you. Shoot. I just sent it up live, and I'm in the process of still uploading a video. There's a video on there, but the new video I'm working on, I was finishing it about 15 minutes ago. So it's not on the project. I was hoping to upload it here and show you guys for the very first time live the new Angel's Blood Kickstarter video. I'm also not a videographer, so again, my self-deprecating apologies, but I'm just a guy trying to make something happen. I'm really happy about making my projects and bringing them to life. Usually I'm hired by someone, so I have a publisher or I have somebody to do all the stuff for me. They great publishers like Cosmic Times, they have their own marketing, and I just do the work, turn it in, and they take it from there. Angel Blood is a passion project for me and Mike, so we do all of everything ourselves, from the conception of the writing, the drawing, the printing, the promotion. All of it's either me and Mike. So if you go to the Angel's Blood page and we talk about like we're doing this, there's two of us, me and Mike. I see. Hey, Sarah, my cousin Sarah is on. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Good to talk to you. Don't be a stranger. Oh man, now I want to talk to you about like how's your little girl, because she must be a million years old by now. Emily's 13, and that's so disturbing. Well, at least some people are seeing the video, so that's good to know. Um, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So lost my train of thought though. I should have been following my notes. Um, so Angel's Blood 1 is out there and exists. You can get it now. And the book is there. Or contact me. I've got copies. Um, we've got it out. We've had it in some local comic shops, and we have it available. What we wanted to do was do a little backstory. So the original Kickstarter was only like $400. I just asked for $400 to get a handful of copies printed. And after taxes and all that stuff, I mean, we were able to get some books printed. But it was better than I thought. So we doubled our goal, and we ended up, like, after you reach your goal on Kickstarter, you start thinking, well, what more would we do? We came up with the idea to have some stretch goals. So okay, if we make this amount of money, we'll tell more stories. If we make that amount of money, we'll tell more stories. Problem was, we didn't have those stories yet, so we were inventing goals as we went along. We're not doing that this time. We are prepared. The one thing I didn't do is I didn't prepare for success, and this time I am very prepared for success. I know what my stretch goals are. I know what the next chapter is, and everything that we're going to put out is already done. So I'm excited to bring a better Kickstarter to you than the last time. But we got it. It's out. It exists, and I'm very happy that issue number 1 is out there. We're going to do a reprint because we're rebranding with Punked Comics up in the corner, and we're going to add some features and a variant cover and stuff like that. So there's going to be a reprint of issue number 1. This Kickstarter is for Angel Blood 0. So sorry, my story. Back to the original Kickstarter, one of the goals we decided was, if we made more money, we'd tell more stories. So we started crafting the backstories, the prequel stories, for a special reward. So now, fast forward some years later, and what we've done is we've taken those and we're gathering them with some behind the scenes drawings, some additional short stories, and some writing that Mike has done in order to elaborate on the mythos of Angel's Blood. And we're collecting the 2 short Miller stories, prequel stories, into a 24-page special edition, Angel's Blood 0. So this is a story that takes place before the story. Gives you just a peek into younger Father Miller before he became a priest, Golgoth before he was a demon, so we get to actually see how Golgoth died. And spoiler alert, he was human and he dies. He was a really bad guy though, so he had it coming. I'd like to elaborate more, but I think what I'm going to do now, guys, is quick show you a video, one of the test videos I've been working on. I would like to give a shout out to a local Midland rapper, Chase Passion, because he was so gracious. Let me tell this story real quick. I've been working on this Kickstarter for a couple of months, and I was looking for to put together a clip reel of some cool shots, some of the good artwork, some story points, and I wanted some background music. I want some good background music to really hit the way that I think the art and story hit. And I couldn't find it. Man, I'm a broke ass artist, and I was looking for some royalty free music online, checking out some file sharing sites where people will upload their music, and all you gotta do is just credit them, get permission. And so I was really searching for about 2 weeks for the right background track. And for the love of God, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find anything that was quite right. The story's a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of rap. I felt like something needed to just punch you in the face with an audible connection, the way that we have a visual connection. to the work, and I just wasn't hitting for me. And then for some reason, a song popped into my head. I couldn't remember it, but I remembered that in about 2016, I don't know, many years ago, I was at a art show at BMO's Bar in Bay City with my friend Adam Wilkinson, selling comics, making art, doing live sketching and stuff like that. It was very cool. It was the kind of thing where vendors set up and there's live bands and some karaoke and stuff like that. Well, one of the groups that came on was an artist that came to be known as Chase Passion. And the sound was terrible. The audio was bad near the acoustics. No offense to BMO's, but it was a little basement of a room, and I couldn't hear a word, but I could hear that this guy had passion. This guy was pumping it. And I went up, I shook his hand and met him. I bought his demo, took it home, and I'm like, I can't believe this is a local artist. This is quality music like you would buy in the store from any highly produced musician. So my man Chase Passion, I started looking him up, and I found right off the bat, I found the song. I found the one song, and I decided this was it. I need to get his permission. I put together a clip real quick to show him, to say, here's what I'd like to do. Can I have his permission? And he was gracious enough to grant it. So I'm going to show you some of the work I'm working on. This is all unfinished, but Chase Passion connects to Angel's Blood in a really deep way, and I love it.
I'm an academic.
I bottle every speck of light and throw it in the dark. Angel in appearance with a demon heart. Gaining pieces just to watch myself fall apart. From which way can I sway to make my mark? Trying to outrun the shadow, sad to embark my arc. So clueless that the influence can be so ruthless. With an angel and devil soldered to my shoulders, I second guess my movement, phase moving. While I'm stuck in park, my mindset I'm losing. I'm gaining the goddamn contusion. It's hard to decipher reality from the illusion. A choice I'm fused with, couldn't decide, so I took them both and blended the fusion. When is a great question. My contradicting use of light are progression, not lack of attention. Although I lack direction, my evil side says I'm perfect. My better half has confession.
Okay, so those are my modest editing skills, throwing something together. That actually isn't the song. That was another song. Once I started, I couldn't stop because there's a lot of songs by this artist Chase that have a lot of, I don't want to say angst, but I mean there's aggression in it. The song "F My Neighbors" is a big favorite of mine. He expresses something really raw, but at the same time is very, very clean and polished. As quick as his lyrics are, I can also understand them. He raps very fast sometimes, but if you really check it out, like, he is articulate and clear, and that makes him such a great rapper. I'm going to play another video for you because, like I said, I've been playing with this a minute.
There is a question I'd like to ask you first here, in the office of His Holiness. Do you believe in God, sir?
Father, I simply believe that religion...
I would not ask if you believe what man says about God. I asked if you believe in God.
I'm an academic.
I bottle every speck of light and throw it in the dark. Angel in appearance with a demon heart. Gaining pieces just to watch myself fall apart. From which way can I sway to make my mark? Trying to outrun the shadow, sad to embark my arc. So clueless that the influence can be so ruthless. With an angel and devil soldered to my shoulders, I second guess my movement, phase moving. While I'm stuck in park, my mindset I'm losing. I'm gaining the goddamn contusion. It's hard to decipher reality from the illusion. A choice I'm fused with, couldn't decide, so I took them both and blended the fusion. When is a great question. My contradicting use of light are progression, not lack of attention. Although I lack direction, my evil side says I'm perfect. My better half has a confession. If I intertwine the two sides, I'd have sublime tendencies within the eyes I reside. Yeah. I'm steady looking in a
a double-sided mirror, watching myself through my reflection, reflecting on my spirit. My fear is that someday my split personality will develop its own reality inside with the enemy. Perplexes me and eyes messed in the head. Distress calls out to all of my closest friends. In my mind blends every segment in everything I pretend, and I notice when I take the defense. But on the sunny side, all's good. Wife and kid great, slick job, work tough, and I'm never giving in. Turn the 311 up and live for positivity. I'm in my own paradise, so fuck all your bullshitting. I feel my soul.
Cut that one off soon enough. There's some swear words at the end of it. This is a mature project, though. It's not necessarily for kids. So my apologies to anyone offended, or to my 13-year-old who tuned into my video. She's heard daddy say a bad word before, but still. I am currently trying to upload the new video, and I can't. It just finished processing. Like I said, I just finished it a couple minutes ago. So pardon with me, guys, before I continue talking and responding, as I'm going to try to get the latest version up. If I don't get this video up, I will be uploading it today to the page, to the Kickstarter page, to the Facebook page, to everything. So it'll be up and it'll be out there. Nope, really excited about that, but okay, not happening, and I'm not taking any more time on it. Sorry, guys, a little bit of dead space there, and I don't like that. So I was talking about Angel's Blood, and so are you. Let's move this. Everybody's chatting online. Groovy. All right. This is Harold, and Harold is my pig. Okay, he's not my pig. He's Emily's pig, and Emily made this adorable pig in art class, and it's my favorite thing. He's got a tail, and Harold speaks to me, and sometimes Harold tells me what to do. So Harold tells me to talk about my comic books. You will see Harold in the new video that I eventually upload. Pardon me for my technical difficulties. Everybody comments. Sarah has sons? I am old. Oh my goodness. Wow, guys. Here's the thing, man. Life is short. Life is short. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm making comics. I'm doing what's going to make me happy, because, man, tomorrow's not guaranteed. What we've learned this year is that you never know what's going to happen. Things have come and gone, and between actual sickness of COVID and the effects that the quarantines and shutdowns and things have had on all of us, like, you don't know what's going to happen, man, and life's too short not to take your chances. So I was gonna throw a lot of cliches at you, but I'm not. That's why I'm not a writer. I have a list so that I keep on track, because I want to make sure I hit certain points during this launch. Guys, I appreciate everyone tuning in. It is so nice to see people in these chat rooms. I say chat rooms. I think that's probably something my daughter would say is an old person thing to say. So Mike and I have been through a lot with this project. Like I said, we had a publisher, and then we lost that publisher. And I'm not going to call anybody out, but I don't mind saying that the publisher dropped us. I had two books with the publisher. I had the publisher for my project for Spring River, and the publisher decided they were moving toward more wholesome Christian-y comics. And they had picked up Angel's Blood more as he said, as a favor to me. And Angel's Blood is not a Christian book. It's got a big church in the first page, but it challenges the church. It challenges themes of heaven and hell and good and evil and stuff like that. And it can be pretty vulgar. I mean, it can be blasphemous. I'm not offended by it. I can see how some people would be. So the publisher, having been offended, thought he couldn't put this out. And that was his choice. I found that to be problematic. and pulled my other book from him as well. But that's just the way it goes. Nothing against the publisher who had his choices to make. What it did is it led me to and the writers, Mike and Eric from Spring River, to start going, why don't we look at doing this on our own? Like, do we need a publisher to bring this book into existence? And ultimately, the goal of every artist and creator is to get a job working in their field, making money, and supporting their family, doing what they love. But deeper than that was like this drive to tell our stories, and so we told our stories, and we had the books done, and we were just looking for ways to make them happen. So that's when we started Incremental Studios and started putting out books by ourselves. So I think I have a graphic for where we go next, because we had a publisher, lost a publisher, decided to go it alone, getting real about making comics. And so I had to learn how to do it pretty much all myself. So I started working on some stuff at home. And if you've watched my videos before, we went through some self-publishing stuff with, I published a children's book, and then this anthology, Pangea. All right, so got some friends together, local friends. We could sit in the living room and talk about stuff. I have some writers and some artists, and we pieced together this 48 some page collection of short stories, some of them comics, some of them just poetry. My Mandy Wilkinson, then now Mandy Nelson, has some stories in there that are just prose. Adam Wilkinson has some artwork in there. He's also got a pinup in Angel's Blood #1. It's pretty fantastic stuff. And then I collected our stuff with the Spring River and Angel's Blood. So this was the first published appearance of Angel's Blood. It was a short 10-page snippet that went into the Pangea issue. And that was the beginning of it. That started getting Angel's Blood out into the world. Oh, look, I like that. That's my head. Look at my head. I am a dork. Anyone will attest I am a dork. So we launched our Kickstarter. We funded it like crazy. It did well enough to start making prequels, and that's what we're doing. Yes, Emily, yes, my pig. I love your pig. I love the pig. The pig is now my muse. I'm sorry. He's been sitting there staring at me for about a month. The pig is now my muse. Feeling very excited about it. I will show you the video because he makes an appearance in the new video, and it makes me laugh. So we went from having a publisher, losing a publisher, to publishing it ourselves on a small scale, to running a Kickstarter so we could publish more than 2 copies. And now here we are. We have a full-blown issue #1 that exists and is out there for everyone to get and read. You can get the digital download or the physical copy on Indie Planet, or by contacting Mike or myself. So we are trying to tell the other stories. We want to continue to tell more Angel Blood stories. And Kickstarter has been a reliable way to do that for indie creators like ourselves. So we're running Angel's Blood 0 to print the origin stories. Do I have some pictures for that? Because what I'd like to share is what you're going to see in the new book. And that takes graphics. I will show you one thing we made. We're both Incredible Hulk fans, so we jumped on this idea. So if you don't know, this is Hulk #1. Big influence on the both of us. It's one of the reasons we became good friends and partners in the first place. In fact, most of the phone meetings we would have, we'd start out talking about making comics and then end up talking for an hour about the history of the Incredible Hulk instead. But it was good because it was friendship building and relationship building, and it's the reason we're still in touch to this day. Probably because we have more in common behind the scenes than we do on paper. So it came time to do Angel Blood 0, and I was thinking about doing a variant cover. So I made this. And it just made sense to me. I wanted to do an homage cover. I want to do something that would be fun and recognizable. And in terms of something that made sense for creators like me and Mike, who are just big Hulk fans, I thought it was a great idea. And it was fun. I mean, if it's not a great idea, hey, cool, I get it. I'm a weird artist, and sometimes my stuff makes no sense. But I had a tremendous amount of fun with it. So it was a very good time for me. Let me take a second, friends, since you're being so patient with my poor skills. And I'm going to upload a picture quick, because one of the things that this book does is it does something. We try to do something unexpected, and something I throw up in the new video is the notion that not only are we just trying to tell stories and we're just making comics, but I think what we're doing is not something you're going to see anywhere else. I don't want to just make plain old comics like everybody else does, and I'm not ever to bash any other creator. Look, if you're out there doing what you love and making comics that you like, then great. I'm not that. What I mean is I don't want my comics. I want my comics to look like everybody else's. And if you know my art style, then you might know that I do a lot of this black and white cross hatching. Um, in fact, I'm a big fan. Angel's Blood is conceived as a black and white book intentionally, because one, that's the style I love. Two, at first it was just cheaper to print because printing color costs like twice as much. And if you're an indie creator, a $1.50 per book versus three something per book makes a lot of sense when you're talking about hundreds of books. So, but for me, creatively, it's that dark gritty style that I enjoy. There's something about the Sin City comics, or can't think of any off the top of my head now. There's something about black and white art that just strikes me. There's something cool and exciting about draining the color out of something and using lines to make shadows. My art teacher from high school, my favorite art teacher on this planet, Shay Wilcox, taught me that no two things have the same value. So if you're looking at me, if I were in black and white, you would clearly see my jacket because it's different from the background. You would see my hat, my face, even though my skin is lighter around the edges. You have these shadows, these light shadows. I like doing that with lines. The thought that you can use with just lines is really what fuels my art. So you see something like this. This is the kind of art that I like to do. I like to use cross hatching. I like to use shading. No two objects next to each other are pretty much. I'm looking to see if I make a mistake. There's like one spot in there where there's just a line. I don't want my line art to look like a coloring book, ever. That's not how I roll. Unless it's a coloring book. Look, I've done children's books before, and sometimes that's the style. One of the books you can get with this Kickstarter is a special edition of Run. I say special, I mean signed. I have autographed copies and stuff that's going to be offered. We're offering digital versions of this book with a certain reward tier, and I'll get to those in a minute. Also, I have a handful of physical copies. The supplies are limited, but my man Vince Churchill and Bailey Hunter, the publisher and editor, have given me permission to include this. It's not a horror book. It definitely is a children's book, but it is a spooky children's book, and it's a Ken book. So if it may not go with the theme of Angel's Blood being a mature comic, but Run is something, but it came up. So see, color does what I was talking about in terms of differentiating one thing from another. But without that color, I do that with cross hatching, with lines, with shading. So for me as an artist, whatever the project needs, that's what I'm going to do. Sky Princess. This project calls for a whole bunch of different styles. And there's some times when it needs to be detailed, like the background. There's times when it needs to be more simple, like characters in the foreground. Sky Princess is another book of mine coming soon, by the way. I was just using that to explain what I'm talking about in terms of style. This book very specifically needed simple lines and zero cross hatching. Oh my God, this was so hard to draw. This was so hard to do for me to edit myself back from doing like this kind of stuff. This is where I live too. I love to do this kind of like pulling out of the shadows, crazy stuff. I've been doing art and stuff and things. Hello. Hello. Hi, Sarah. Thanks again for your comments. Oh, cool. I will hit you up later. We'll talk. Um, I'm so glad. Thank you, guys. Thank you for checking this out. So I managed to find another picture. So I'm going to upload this. Speaking of something not expected. So here's where we're going with that. In terms of black and white art now, one thing we have done with the first Angel's Blood, and we're talking about doing with the new one, is coloring the line art, which makes it slightly different from a colored comic. It's going to be one of our stretch goals coming up. This book is all done in black and white, but if I think if funding warrants it and there's enough demand and people would like it, I want to do something like this where the line art still shines and you also get that pop of color. We did a all red and black edition like this of Angel's Blood #1, where all the line art was still black, but we used pops of red wherever it needed to be, wherever there was place for it. Not in a gratuitous way, but wherever there was blood, I would color it red. So one of the goals for the last book, and that we will carry on into this one, if we're lucky enough to get funded, is to work on a colorized version, but not a full color version, but something like this where we use bam, pops of color. I said bam, missed my bam. We use pops of color to accentuate certain things in the art. We're for this one, for example, um, a book about angels and demons, and I did not personally expect there to be a shark. So all of a sudden there's a shark in there, and I'm thinking, what can we do to make it visually interesting? So I pulled this together. Like I said, if we get more funding, we will do something like this for pops of color. But otherwise, it's really still very cool in black and white, and I'm a huge fan of that. As I'm checking my messages, I'm gonna end this thing by quick reading off the reward tiers, because if you're interested, I appreciate your support. Listen, anything helps. I'll click, a like, a share. Spread the word about what we're doing, because indie comics thrives on sharing. Something that I've learned the last few years is that since none of us have producers and publishers and big marketing firms behind us, we're doing it ourselves, and we're kind of figuring it out as we go. And I'm proud of that. But at the same time, I acknowledge it's limited reach. So if you can't back financially, that's fine. I'm not pushy. I only want people who can and want to support the project to financially support the project. I will, however, ask everybody in the world to share this. Share with friends. See if there's anybody that might like this kind of story or wants to support indie comics at all. Check us out, because we're another collection of artists and writers doing that thing. I say artists because let me get to this in my circular ramblings. I have more artists on this book than just me. I have the great Ken Bastard did the variant cover for the Angel Blood prequel edition that we saw in the beginning. I have this right here is brand new from my man Mohammed Lubis, and I could stare at this thing all day. This is crazy. Speaking of the power of black and white art, if you haven't followed Lubisan, find Lubisan on Instagram. He's really big on Instagram, like thousands of followers. I don't even know how that happens. I'm so not into Instagram. Mohammed Lubis, the great Lubisan, we hired him to pull this pin up together for us, and it's breathtaking, and I love it. And it's going to be a poster printed for some of the stretch goal or from the advanced tier goals in the Kickstarter. So I'm reading my list because one, this book is happening. This book is a done deal. It's there's no risk. There's no risk that you back this project or you support this project and we don't make it. All right, so this is happening. That's right there, done. There's almost no content that isn't made. So it's all there and ready to go. I'm assembling it still as we're deciding what goes in and what doesn't need to go in. But there's not going to be a wait for new stuff to be created. This book is 24 pages and it's ready to happen. So back it with a clear conscience, risk free. Don't worry about not getting the book or not getting the book into existence. I think I've got 9 or 10 pledge levels, so let's go like this. You can pledge without a reward, which is just you can make a pledge just because you like it and you want to support it, and that's great. That's fine. I love everybody, and sometimes when I'm backing Kickstarters, I don't even care so much about the product as I do supporting a friend or a creator if I think a project is really worthwhile, um, or if I just think somebody needs support. And there's like I said, it transcends comics to think that we need to support each other in just life. Um, I'll go off on another tangent another day about that. Um, so I decided for just $1, for $1, you back us at all. You can decide not to take a reward, but if you back us at all for even $1, when we're over, you can get the digital download of Angel's Blood Zero. So the digital version of the prequel story can be yours for just $1, and I would love it and appreciate it. And that's fine. You can back it for $1 or as much as you want. The cool thing about Kickstarter is that you could choose a reward and back as much as you'd like. So hey, I appreciate support, and I will deliver for everyone and every tier. Mike and I are working hard to make sure that this Kickstarter is better prepared than the last Kickstarter, and it's going to be epic. So for $5, we're offering the digital downloads of both books, so you can get Angel's Blood 0 and number 1, and have the complete story so far. At $15 level, you can get both the digitals and a physical copy of the new book, and that's 15. Shipping included on all my reward tiers, so I hate worrying about shipping, so I've figured out an estimate on shipping. Unless you're international, and then please contact me through Kickstarter, and I will figure out a shipping cost for international shipping. But local domestic, I've wrapped the shipping costs into the reward tiers. Before I go further, every reward tier is stacked, which means it's built on itself. So every level has every other reward in it, plus something. So instead of reading them all over and over, I'm going to just tell you each level what's added, and then you hopefully you understand. Now you can see all of this at the link I posted in the comments, Angel's Blood 0, an evil prequel at Kickstarter.com. So for 15, you get the digitals and the physical book. For 25, we've added another copy of Angel's Blood 1, so you get physicals of both books with that one. At a $30 level, we've added the digital download of Run. So the children's book that you saw from Dark Recesses Press, you can get along with those. For another $5, or for $40, you can get physical copies of all the books, Angel's Blood 1, 0, and a copy of Run. While supplies last, they are limited in the Kickstarter, so do watch that. For $10 more, at a level of $50, you get all that, plus I have a sketch cover of issue number 1. I will draw you an original sketch, one of a kind, on the cardstock of the front cover for the first issue, and that's yours for $50. At $65, we're adding a poster. I'm going to have 2 posters available, maybe more if we get some stretch goals going, but either this poster, Muhammad's great pinup, because he's awesome and I love that art. And guys, believe me when I say, as an artist, it's rare for me to plug somebody else's art. I usually plug my own art. So that's Angel's Blood Muhammad Lubis poster, or you can go with this. I'm getting copies printed as we speak of the Angel's Blood Hulk cover, Hulk homage cover, I'm calling it. And that level is at $65. Okay, not wanting to go too crazy. The last level is only $100, and I know that sounds like a lot of money, and that's great if you can. If not, that's fine. Totally not pushy, but I wanted something up there for everybody. And at $100, we're getting all that. Plus, I'm adding an original page of art, one of the pages from this book. So one of the original art pages, my hand inked art pages, I'm offering up. They're limited to 16 pages. Yep, 16. So I have 16 original art pages that are up for that reward tier. And you get the Bristol board, my hand inks on it, and all of that for just $100. And So that's my pitch, guys. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. This has been a long, hard road, and I'm making mistakes as I go. But I'm an indie guy, and it's difficult to step out of my comfort zone, which my comfort zone is a table and a pen. This would be me in my happy place. But that doesn't cut it. I have to, if I'm going to make comics, I got to get them out to you, right? So if you want to see them, or if you want to see me keep making more comics, please do me a favor and click on the link. Please share, spread the word for me, advertise, follow. I'm going to be blasting for the next 30 days on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and DeviantArt and everywhere that I possibly can. I apologize for annoying everyone, but hit me up too at kenscomics.net if you're not already on the list on Ken's Clan. That's a bad name. I'm going to call it Ken's Crew instead. I want something catchy and a little bit of alliteration. Comics love alliteration, like Clark Kent, Bruce Banner. Hit me up on kenscomics.net, and you can join my email list and see the updates there too, and then you'll never miss a beat. Check the comments one last time, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'm incredibly happy that we're getting this book out to the world. It just depends on you. The book is going to happen one way or another. It just depends on what level it happens on the Kickstarter. I can print 5 copies if I want. We could make no money, and I can just print a handful of copies to get started because it's ready and it exists, and it can happen because thankfully there's resources out there for that. But I don't want just 5 copies. I would like to print 100 copies and get them into everyone's hands. So thank you for your time. Hit me up in the comments. Follow me on Facebook at Ken's Comics or Angel's Blood, the comic book series on Facebook. You guys are fantastic. Thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful day. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and remember to take care of each other.